Hello everyone, welcome to Colleptic Vidoes. I have another sword review for you guys. This is Cold Steel's 1.5 longsword. You'll need to note on their website, if you try to search for this sword, they have two types. They have their regular 1060 version of this, which is a normal steel polished blade. And then they have this one, which is 1055, which has this black coating on it, which basically just makes it a little bit more user-friendly when it comes to maintenance. It won't rust as much. You don't have to polish that much. You don't have to oil it as much. You still need to oil it. And that's on the crossguard and also on the pommel. On their website, they have this sword listed as 1055 steel, which I will talk about a little bit later in the video. Overall, this sword on their website is listed at 45 inches long without the scabbard. But when I actually measured this sword, it was just shy of 44. So I don't know if that's a difference between the two versions of the sword, the 1060 versus the 1055. Maybe the 1060 is a little bit longer. I would need one to verify. On their website, they have it listed as 50 ounces. I have it on my digital measuring device as 3 pounds without the scabbard. This one is not peened. It has a screw design, which, if we start talking about the sword's durability and how it functions when being used, is one of my only complaints, because after some vigorous use, it does come loose. Bonus is that all you need to have is a key or a dime or a screwdriver on you, and you can tighten it up again. But you do have to consistently tighten up the pommel, otherwise the crossguard gets loose, which can be a little bit annoying. They've put some basic leather on the handle here, which is held up for me, but I'm not very rough on handles, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. But it does look quite nice, just for it is what it is. And then, as you can see, it also comes with a scabbard, which is nicely done. It's held up. It's very light. It's made out of good materials. Not too much more to say about that. None of the seam here has come loose. It's nicely done. I suggest ordering it with the scabbard if you are going to order it online, if you have that option. So you can see the overall dimensions of this sword. It's a little bit, the dimensions are a little bit small for most long swords out there. It's 10 inches on the handle, which is adequate for longsword work, and the crossguard is 8 inches, about 3.5 on each side of the blade, which once again is adequate. You'll notice the blade itself does not have a fuller on it. It's a diamond style. So as you can see here, what I'm trying to demonstrate on camera is that this is a very, very blade heavy sword. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that this sword was designed for cutting purposes, for balance, to even be traditionally balanced. To be truthfully honest about this sword, it feels like I'm just holding a big pipe. The weight of the sword, I can't even say it feels tip heavy, it just feels blade heavy. The whole entire blade just wants to bend. The center percussion of this blade is roughly right here, but I don't think that matters. The point of balance of this sword is quite far out from the crossguard, about right there, roughly. What's that, roughly about 5 inches? I don't think any of that is relevant for this blade. Because of the diamond blade, and because of how stiff this blade is, I would classify this as just an extremely crude cutting instrument. It doesn't handle well throughout the air. I wouldn't suggest this very often with one hand. You can use it with one hand, but the way it's balanced and the way it cuts through objects and how crude it is, I got a feeling you would hurt your wrist quite quickly if you use this with one hand on a regular basis. But my overall conclusions about this sword is worth buying, not if you want to practice your sword techniques when cutting through objects, but if you simply want to go out into your backyard, out into the woods, and have some fun. Cut through some stumps, cut through some metal, thrust through car hoods. I don't care. This sword's gonna do the trick for you. The conclusions you'll need to note about this sword is that it's very, very robust. It's very, very durable. It holds together very well because of the screw style pommel. You can keep the crossguard tight. The black coating on it makes it relatively maintenance free, but it is 1055 steel, so it's a little bit softer, so you'll need to note that you'll need to sharpen it more often than a lot of other swords. But that also means it's very easy to fix nicks and any damage you do when cutting through objects you shouldn't probably be cutting through with this weapon, you'll be able to fix quite easily, more so than a sword with 1065 or higher type steel. So if you want a crude cutting blade that would be great in a zombie apocalypse, this might be one of the strongest contenders for you. All right, all joking aside though, I've used a lot of cold steel swords, and the one thing they have on their side is strength and durability. They're not the best swords when it comes to being traditionally made or having a lot of finesse and move well through the air. I've used their Italian longsword, which is one of the better balanced swords from them that I've felt. It was very good compared to this sword. I've also used their Gross Messer. I own their Prussian saber. I used to own, I believe, the British Cavalry saber. I believe that was the one. I've used their couple of their cutlass designs. I've used their Chinese war sword. As I mentioned, I used their Gross Messer. So I've used a lot of their products. Their products are always durable, and they're always easy to maintain, and they're always fun to use. And for their price point, I think they're worth it. If they were more expensive, I probably wouldn't touch them. This sword in general being $350, and I think the one that's $1060 is roughly about $450. But this one in general, for being $350, I don't think you're going to find a sword around that price that's going to be able to take the beating that this sword can. If you go to more budget swords that are around $150, they will break, bend, or chip way before this sword will. I've used this for 2 years. I've cut through objects I should not be cutting through at all. So if you want a sword that's great to do whatever you want with it, and you're not really concerned about how it feels or how it handles in the air, this is a good one for the price. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day or evening, and please like or subscribe to the videos. Thanks. Bye.